I'm Brad.
I'm Scott.
Welcome to Curiosity.
And we are here at South by Southwest doing a South by Takeover episode, and we're here with Lydia Davies. Lydia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was so great to run into you guys and get this opportunity.
What brings you to South by?
I am actually speaking on a panel tomorrow for a Greater Houston Partnership. The future is female. And
obviously it is.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, who doesn't know that? And I'm also part of the Founded in Texas group tomorrow morning.
Oh, super cool.
So yeah, double things on a Monday, and then I just wanted to come check out all the cool people that were speaking and, you know, meet all the people that I could. So it's been great so far.
So you're CEO of Teammates. You're a founder. You're in the middle of the action. Like, catch us up to, like, starting a company. Like, what led you to get Teammates up and off the ground?
Basic insanity. Like, don't ever do it. Well, you know, it was really funny. It was during the pandemic, and I'm like one of those people that my mind is always just like, you know, full entrepreneur, just going, doesn't stop. And I was in real estate, and the market was kind of, you know, a bit slow, and I was just like, you know what? It's got to the point now where I'm so grown up that it's hard to find people to play sports with, because you're no longer just like one of the young people that can just jump, you know, jump in to pick up game, whatever. And I found that I could not like find any females to do sports with me. Like, I had a bunch of female friends my age, but like not a lot of them played sports. Like, they'd go to the gym and do classes, but they wouldn't do sports. And so I just really wanted to find people to golf with and, you know, run with and all that other stuff. And my husband was also like traveling for work and didn't have anyone to play with when he was traveling. And I was like, there is a market here. So since then, since the golf app, starting that business and then pivoting to what is now Teammates, a multi-sport app, it's really just been a, you know, ebb and flow of craziness and trying to keep your head above the surface, as I'm sure you guys know and have
That's
experienced.
amazing.
That's awesome. So what is Teammates?
So Teammates is a multi-sport meetup app. So you can like post games for pickleball or runs or ski afternoons, and you can find people to join them.
So that's absolutely amazing for many reasons. I'll go back all the way to like post-university, especially undergrad, and finding other humans who wanted to like go throw the baseball or like go do sport-related things. And I was like, this is so sad. Like, what, we graduated and all of a sudden we just have to be like boring humans. I'm like, I'm not okay with this.
And all you can do is go to the gym when you just want to go through, like, throw the baseball around the field.
Literally. So fast forward about 15 years. And 3 weeks ago, my wife and I are hanging out, and she's like, let's do something fun today. I'm like, yeah, which we do fun stuff all the time. And she was like, let's go to the batting cages. And I played baseball for many years, and I was like, that would be freaking amazing. And so we found this like batting cage, and it wasn't like the kind of like a putt-putt. Like, it was like a very official, like, youth-focused, like, competitive league. Like, select
You're elbowing
baseball.
12-year-olds out of the way.
It was amazing. I mean, we walk in, and there's like a group of like 7 to like 9-year-olds with their coaches, like legit training in one of the bays, and then in one of the other ones, in one of the other cages, there's this like high school kid with his trainer, and then there's Sky and I in the middle cage, and we just walked in and hit off a pitching machine for an hour, and it was so freaking fun. Like, I had the most amazing time. Like, my inner boy just erupted from my being, and it was such a blast. And the fact that you have a company that does that, like, I think play needs to be fundamental, not only to society, but to adults. And I love that you're doing that. I have no idea.
That's
so
the thing. Like,
cool.
That's the thing. You just like stop playing when you become a grown up, and it's so not fair. And I just did the first big Teammates event, a pickleball festival.
Wow.
Last weekend.
That's
and
so
I made
cool.
it like I had bubble machines and like bounce houses, and it was like all like fun, because it's just like we don't get to do that when we're grown ups, and I hate that, because I love having fun. I love just like going to play soccer on the field with my neighbors. Like, there's so many things that you just miss from childhood that why shouldn't you get to do it? Like, there's no reason.
You grew up across the pond, is my understanding.
Yeah, well, I'm from the UK, but I grew up,
cool.
I was born in Thailand, grew up in Singapore, Indonesia, Alaska, kind of every like random place you can think of.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I want you to just tell us a little bit about your singing career. I know this is like a hard pivot.
No, well, it's part of my story as an entrepreneur. So when I was living in Singapore, I was doing a lot of singing and acting and all that in school. And I was kind of a rocky, like singer-songwriter. And I just
play any instruments and stuff?
Yeah,
like
I mean, I played the piano, but generally, like, I just love to sing with a band, like a full band.
Got it.
Like a full big band, 40-piece?
No,
Oh, no.
like a rock band.
Got it. Totally kidding.
And I just decided that, I really wanted to try and do it professionally because I love to perform and I love to songwrite. I loved being in the studio. So I went to the UK. Like, I actually recorded a demo in Singapore, and then I went to the UK and got a management company and a label and all that kind of stuff, and just started doing it like full-time, nonstop, performing all over London. And then I moved to LA and performed there, and then back to London. So it was 12 years of it, of producing, songwriting, singing. And it just kind of like took its toll. You get older and that kind of industry gets a little rough.
Sure.
You can't keep up anymore. And a lot of it was like people trying to mold me into something I wasn't. And I had that entrepreneur spirit where I was like, I want to do what I want to do and make my own company. And I had my own record label for a while. But it really showed me and taught me like how I can make something for myself, and whatever you like aspire to do, you can actually like be resourceful. Like, you can't just dream it up. You have to be super resourceful, teach yourself a bunch of things. I mean, I taught myself how to use Pro Tools and produce music and all that stuff. So when I wanted to make the app, I was like, well, I already kind of knew how to do like frames and stuff because I'd made a basic app for another business, but I just sat down and watched YouTube videos and taught myself, and
that's awesome.
I was like, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it.
So I've always been fascinated by humans that have musical gifts, because I do not have any, except for like freestyle rapping, but that's a totally different time in life. And I am always curious about the psychology of someone in that space, because you're kind of existing in this hyper creative universe where anywhere that you are at any moment in time is inspiration for something that you're going to like bring out of your being to the ears and the emotional just wonder of another human's life. And I would just be so curious, like, what were some of those moments in time, and like just what was that lived experience like? I know it's kind of two questions in one, but that's really cool. I haven't ever spoken with someone on the show who's done this, so I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still to this day, from I think about 6 years old, I carried a notebook around with me, and I would like write poems all the time. Like, no matter where I went, I just stop and like write poems and rhymes and whatnot, and I still do to this day, carry a notebook around. But it was really just like observing people and people's emotions and feeling like empathy and, kind of coming up with ideas as to why they would be feeling that. And before I did like my mainstream stuff, which is more like electro pop and less meaningful, when I did my own like really heartfelt music, having people come up to you after and be like, that really meant a lot to me, and that really, resonated with me and made me feel something. I mean, it's like the best feeling to know that you've positively affected someone or helped them or made them feel like, some guy told me once, he was like, your song was like a warm hug to me.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is the nicest thing. But just knowing that, your words can help someone is just awesome.
Wow. That's so incredible. And like during that time, you said it was 12 years, right? Like, I don't know, like what was life like in that type of environment?
It's funny. I actually, the only thing I can compare it to is trying to fundraise. Like, it's, it's a very man's world, the music industry, and women don't get treated very well. And I feel that you're just constantly like struggling and fighting to be seen and heard and taken seriously. And that was like one of the main things for me is like, I did everything myself, but still I was like, hey, I wrote and produced and did this song, and they'd be like, oh, and still not take me seriously and be like, are you sure? Are you sure you did?
Jeez. Really?
And which is funny enough. at the age I'm at now, I've had a similar experience in trying to fundraise for teammates. So it's like very funny having that lesson from the past and then like facing it again like 10 years later
in a totally different world.
Completely different world and different like, you know, environment. But yeah, it's just constant like clawing to the top, you know. It's always a battle. But also that world is very fast. Like the entertainment industry is very fast. It's very shallow. It can be very rewarding, but at the same time, you have to check yourself daily. Like not go into the hole, not do what other people are telling you to do. And I think that's why, you know, so many like famous people get into drugs and get depression and all that, because you have to really like fight to keep yourself on the surface.
You mentioned you checked in with yourself daily. Are there some cool ways that you went about that?
I'm a big meditator.
Yeah.
I've done it since I was like 15. My mom was like a Reiki therapist and did all that alternative stuff. So I meditate almost every day and just ground myself and like think about the things that are really meaningful, because money and career and that is one thing, but it's like having a healthy family and a happy family is really the most important thing, obviously. So just putting things into perspective.
Yeah, like just being introspective. I think that's the only path I know to be fully alive in our humanity, is to have that daily meditation and just quiet the noise and focus on the things that are within our being that we can't easily see. Like it's easy to see money or success. It's hard to see what's in the core of your existence, of your being. That's really, really important to not only our mental health, but just our existence.
It really is.
Is music still a part of your life? I mean, get up there and like karaoke bars and stuff? Or
Yeah,
is it,
I do. I honestly really miss it. I sing with my kids a lot at home, and we have a piano, and, you know, we do a lot of like dances and all that kind of stuff. But I really do miss like just being in the studio and just sitting there for hours and creating something. But I try and, get on stage whenever anyone asks me, or, you know, if they're like, hey, can someone sing the national anthem? I'm like, hi, over here.
Can you share a pinnacle moment just in that sort of space? Just like being on stage, is there like an experience that stands out to you in all of that, lights and studio and other things, just like memoir moment, like takeaways?
Yeah, so it's actually one that, because it was created so it was before I did a major record deal, when I was in LA, like kind of scrappy, you know, doing all my own stuff. I performed at the Whiskey Go-Go, which is like a famous music club in Hollywood. And I had written all my own songs, recorded them myself, done the choreography for my dancers, got the costumes they were wearing, like everything was me, everything. And I thought like maybe like 20 people were going to show up. You know, I invited my friends. It was like my name was like on the billboard thing outside. I mean, I was so excited. I was only like 22. And I just didn't think there'd be a crowd, you know, which was okay. I was just going to do it. And, you know, and all of a sudden like 100 people poured in, and I was like, which it still isn't a whole lot, but it felt like a lot because it was my first big thing. And that was just a really important, like, proud moment for me. And that was one of my favorite shows I ever did. Even though it was kind of like just scrap. I mean, we had like torn T-shirts. Everything was cheap, you know.
It's fantastic.
But
those are the most beautiful moments.
Yeah,
because there's so much authenticity in
That's what it was. It was very authentic. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And to have that be received, and to just sort of have that moment.
Yeah.
When the lights went down, and you just like felt like you put it all out.
Yeah, it was just me. It was all me. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, Lydia, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank
this is
you.
amazing.
Yeah, this
Glad
was
we bumped into
awesome.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Stoked. Boom.
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 Thank you for listening. Join Brad and Scott next time on the Curiosity Podcast.